Hello, and welcome to Energizing Habits, Simple Strategies for a Sustainable Healthy Lifestyle. I'm your host, Vicki Cleary. So, a little bit different setup tonight. I realized in posting the video, there's an audio issue, and it's kind of hard to have a podcast with no audio. And the video, while you could try to read my lips, might be a little challenging to understand what's going on. So I decided to re-record at the last minute. But here I am. Now, I guide busy businesswomen through sustainable habit change so they can reduce stress, have more energy, and can thrive. And along those lines, yesterday we started the fall edition of our Little Black Dress project, which is a 6-week journey where I guide women through cleaner eating, through moving their bodies, and building body confidence. I only run this program twice a year. I do it in the fall, like we are now, and then again in the spring as we prepare for summer. And it's always exciting to see, the results that these women have, but it's also really exciting to see these busy businesswomen prioritizing themselves in this way. And it got me thinking, how might someone get into this mindset where they actually feel like they can take this time for themselves? So today I am going to talk about boundaries and something that will make you feel more in control of your time and also your actions. And you might even notice a spillover effect into other areas of your life, right? Not just in your health and wellness area. So I'm talking about saying no more often. That's right. It's just as simple as that. All we have to do is just say no more often to those things that we're not wholeheartedly interested in doing. And I know it's not just that simple, which is why we're having a whole episode about it today. So now if you can, you could also even take it a step further and only agree to those things that are a hell yes for you, those things that you really truly want to spend your time and energy on. And I actually attribute this part, at least a little bit, to one of my friends who is also an entrepreneur, and she's a business coach. And she's been working on saying hell yes to her things more often, only committing to those things that are hell yes for her. And it's paying off immensely where she's having these valuable interactions and being able to spend her time in good ways for her. Now, if your schedule is usually jam-packed, and you sometimes wonder how you're going to get everything on your list done, it might be time to take back control. So you might be thinking, like, what the heck does this have to do with health and wellness? And it actually has quite a bit to do with health and wellness, because when it comes to overcommitting your time and your energy, it can leave you feeling overwhelmed, stressed, drained, tired, lack of energy, right? It can take a toll on your wallet. It can take a toll on your health. So when it comes to overcommitting, you might find over time that it becomes challenging to do everything on your list well. You have a lot of things to do. You have only so much time to get them done. And so something somewhere is going to suffer. It could even be your own quality of life, right? So you might be so busy scrambling to get all the stuff done that you're not even noticing or even worrying about the fact that you're not spending time with family, you're not doing those things that are helpful for you, or that just don't make you happy. So overcommitting can reduce the quality in what you're doing and also reduce the quality of your life. Now, a lot of people will say they don't have time for self-care, which helps to improve your quality of life. But that's because they tend to put everything above their own self-care. They're on the bottom of the list. Their self-care items are on the bottom of the list. They're busy helping others, busy doing other things. The truth is, if you limit what you do to those things that you truly value, that you're excited about, it will start to raise the quality of your life, start to raise the level of enjoyment that you feel for the things you're doing. So we need to take that self-care item on our list and we need to bring it back to the top. Wherever it's sitting, 2, 4, 6, 50, that self-care item on your list needs to come back to the top. And it may look different every day, that self-care item that you're doing, but it needs to be pulled back up to the top, because what good is it for you to be doing all these things if you're not doing them at your best, if your energy isn't into it, your mindset's not into it, and you're feeling drained, which that draining feeling is then going into the next thing that you committed to, right? So you're not even starting at 100%. So we take that self-care and pull it back to the top of the list. So how do we start doing that? Well, we start by saying no more often. I know, this is the challenge. I have a hard time saying no. People around me, I know, have a hard time saying no. So one way that you can start saying no is to think about what your priorities are. Prioritize where you will focus your time. Your priorities will come out of your values, what things do you value in life, and will come out of your goals. So what are you working towards? Those things that need a little bit of your time right now. So if you're working on building better relationships or spending time with your family, working on your health, maybe your career, any and all of those options are fine, but just know that you can't work on all of them at the same time. Because again, that quality level that you put into that, into all those things is going to be reduced, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to ignore all the other things that you're not focused on in that moment. It just means that in that moment you're going to focus and you can shift gears a little later, whether it's today, tomorrow, whether it's this week, next week, maybe it's this month, next month. But knowing where your priorities are will help you make these decisions as you go through and figure out where to spend your time. Now, once you have your priorities in mind, it then is easier to say yes to those things that fall in line with it. Those things that make you feel excited, those things that add value to your life, those things that step you forward a little closer to your goals. And it's also then easier to say no to those things that don't align with your priority, that don't get you excited, that don't add value to your life, and that don't step you towards your goals. So for example, if your family is your main priority, you can still have goals, and things to do around your career, around your health. And since you're actually providing for your family and being a role model in both your career and your health, they're all part of the equation. It's just a matter of where does the focus go. So an example of, when you're in your career, right, you're still providing for your family. And you probably have to work 8 to 5 or whatever your working hours are. And so you need to focus on work at that time. Another example would be like, all right, healthful activities, cooking together, cooking a nutritious meal and then enjoying it together. Still family focused, but it has a health element. Or going for a bike ride together, right? Still has a health component, but you're doing it as a family. So now one way that you'll know when saying no is the right thing to do is by trusting your instincts. So if you feel an intense, or maybe it doesn't have to be intense, just a sense of relief at the thought of not doing this thing, whatever the invitation is to do, if you feel that sense of relief when you're thinking about not doing it, that's a pretty good indicator that maybe that's not the best use of your time right now. And that's totally okay. Because you're tapping into what's good for you at the moment, right? So you're looking at your priorities, but then also looking like what feels good for your energy right now. Now, again, I've said before that saying no is challenging for many of us. I totally get it. One trick that you can use to help you say no a little easier and without having to offer some excuse or apology is to just use definitive language. It also helps when you can get into the mindset that you don't owe anyone an apology for taking back your time. You don't owe anyone an excuse as to why you're not spending time doing the thing, right? Some examples of this definitive language would be, I don't have time to take to bake brownies for the bake sale. Period. I didn't offer why. I didn't offer a sorry. I just said I just don't have the time. Another example, I don't go out for drinks during the week, right? So you've set that priority that is not what you do during the week for whatever reason. It doesn't matter the reason. That's what you've determined. Maybe it's a health reason. Maybe it's a time with family reason. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's because it costs you money that you don't want to spend on that anymore. It does not matter. It's just that I don't go out for drinks during the work week. Here's another one. Weekends are for family time. And I've actually heard this one quite a bit more in the last couple of years. I think that, people kind of either being separated from their family members or reconnecting with them by having to be so close to them. People have realized the value of that time with family, and they're setting those hard lines that, weekends or whatever the time is are for my family, and I don't intrude on that with other things. Another one that you could use is I work out every morning. So if you have an invitation for a morning event, coffee date, or something, I work out every morning. And so therefore, right, I don't have the time or the space to be able to do that thing. So you kind of get the picture here. Basically, it's using that language to help set a clear boundary, which means that people are more apt to understand and give you less pushback when you say no. When you start to get into that wishy-washy, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, that I just can't, people, they may not mean to, but then they kind of play on that a little bit. And then you're wishy-washy, well, maybe you will say yes if I keep asking. Or maybe if I can, if you feel sorry enough, maybe you'll recommit. So be definitive, know that you don't owe anyone an excuse or an apology. You get to choose where you spend your time and energy. So let's do a quick recap, okay? So we talked about saying no more often, but then also saying yes, only if it's a hell yes, right? This is where I choose to spend my time and energy. We talked about being mindful to not overcommit. That might be that you need to check across all your calendars. I've done that before, paper calendar and several digital calendars. I'll not look at all the places and I'll commit to something. If you can merge your calendars or know the different places that have to be checked before you commit, that also gives you a little more time to process whether or not you can actually or want to actually commit to the thing. Then you're going to prioritize where to focus your time. So being in line with your values, being in line with your goals. And trusting your instincts and how you feel about a potential commitment or invitation. If the energy doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel like something that you want to do, don't do it. Say no. And then use definitive words and phrases. So this is what will help you to be able to say no easier, using definitive words and phrases so that you don't have to feel like you're giving excuses and apologies. So along with your health, your time is your most precious resource. So to go together, right? I'm not sure the one is any more than the other. They're both as important. You never get back those hours that you spent doing something that you don't want to do. And you never get back, the health or the years that you trade off your life for stress or, other things that negatively impact your health. So guarding your time is one of the best ways that you can take care of yourself. It impacts the time you have available. It impacts your health, helps reduce stress and overwhelm. So guarding your time is how you are going to make time for your self-care and bring that back up to the top of your list. So as we close out today's episode, I want to, of course, if you've been listening to the other episodes, you know that I want to give you an energizing action that you can try today or this week. And I know you're busy, right? So these things here might help you feel a little bit better and perhaps less overwhelmed. So you've got some things on your calendar that I know you don't want to do or you don't need to do. They're cluttering your calendar, they're cluttering your life. They're not allowing you to do those things that you really want to do. So I want you to go through your calendar for the next week. Find one, maybe two things that you can not do. You can either excuse yourself from the thing or delegate it to someone else. When you excuse yourself or hand it off, I encourage you to not apologize. I encourage you to not give an excuse. If you do feel the need to explain, it's just a matter of, I just don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the energy. Period, right? We don't have to get into this long thing as to why. And then leave it at that. And, see how that feels and see what that space in your calendar feels like. And then maybe do it again for the next week. I like to go through my calendar on Sundays and just see what the week feels like. To see if I feel like I'm able to slot any more things in, if I need to take more things out. Some weeks are just naturally busier than others with, school, not my school, but my daughter's school and work and sports and the whole bit. And so, what gets out in a given week might change. So I tend to assess it on a week by week basis. But I encourage you to give it a try, see how it feels. See what that space feels like, and what are you going to do with the time that you have freed up, right? Maybe it is some self-care. Maybe it is spending time with your family. Maybe it's one of those items that needs a little more focus. And that's all I have for you today. So if you found this episode valuable, please like it, leave a review, share it with someone else who might find it valuable. And of course, if you have any questions about creating sustainable habits or about creating a healthy lifestyle, send them my way. Facebook, Instagram, it's at Uplift Healthy Lifestyle. You can also email me, Vicki at Uplift Healthy Lifestyle. And of course, you can always learn more on my website, uplifthealthylifestyle.com. So I hope you have an energized day, and I will talk with you again soon.